God. I wish I could live in a prison. Sits with eaves closed, slumped as if sleeping. I want you to relax. I want you to go back. I want you to see her very vividly. I want you to see her face. Yeah. Why do you say she's a woman? I don't know. I just think it is. Old too. She's got bald, she's got a big head and her eyes have bulges. She's sorta brown-skinned, not like a black person but like leather. Yellow-brown. And when she opens her mouth her lips are all, she hasn't got lips exactly, but it flops down. Her lips are floppy. I never saw her talking to me. You know, the truth is, I don't know what that is. I don't know whether it's a bug or what. And I also don't know if it's a woman or not. Speaks in high, light voice. It talks like this. It's got sort of a normal speech, as if to creature. You know, I'm not buying this. You ran show me all that little insignia you want, and I'm still not buying this. What did she mean by saving can you get harder? I was about half up. Hard. Venus. And she says, can you get harder? And the truth is, I could not. I didn't even know I was in that state. And with her around, there's just no way. Was this natural or somehow induced? I don't know. No. But you see, that thing stayed to me. I don't even know when it went out. It was almost like it has alive. It was a big, grey thing with what looked like a little cage on the end of it, a little round nubbin about the size of the end of your thumb. And they shoved it into me, they showed me afterward, so they must have taken it out of me, but I don't remember them doing it. These things happen sometimes like they're sort of in between. Pause. You know, they talk to me, but I can't hear him. Long pause. Sigh. One thing you mentioned was this message that you were the chosen one. Yeah. Did you react to that? Yeah. I said exactly what I said then. Because they say, you are our chosen one, and it's just bullshit. Like they're trying to stroke me, you know. Did they say chosen for what? Nah. Not for anything. They've got a lot of them, believe me. I've seen some of the others before. All lying down there. What others? The other people. There was a whole row of them. But that was a long time ago. They didn't know where they were or what they were doing. I was sitting up in bed. And how old were you? 12. Where were you? I was sitting up in bed. And everybody else was asleep. There's a whole bunch of beds. Sounds of distress. Long sigh, as if resigned. I'm glad you let me be awake. I'm sitting on a chair, dust this grey thing in front of me. What is that? It's got red spots on it. I'm tired. I feel sick. Do you want to go home? I don't care if you never take me back home again. You have to go home. Who are all those people? They're all soldiers. Why'd they end up in here? Because they were alone. What do you do to them? We look them over and send them home. What's the point of that? The point of that is, well. Why do you look so awful? I can't help that. When did you find my sister? She's just down the hall. Patricia. EP. EP doesn't look good. EP looks like she's deader in a doornail. She's all right. I then saw my father for the first time. He was standing apparently quite conscious. Daddy, I'm scared now. Dave, Daddy, don't be so scared, Daddy. Dad, don't be so scared. Daddy, don't be so scared. Oh, Daddy, don't be so scared. Come on, Daddy, it's all right. He says, Witty, it's not all right. It's not all right. No, I know it's not all right. Oh God, what is it? He asks. I don't know what it is either, Daddy. How'd you get up here? Daddy, gasps, stifled screaming. Slowly subsides. Long breaths. Silence. Emerges spontaneously from hypnosis. We were on a train. Were we on a train? Long pause. I'm not hypnotized. Do you recall what went on? Do I recall what went on? The last part of your hypnosis. The last part. We were on a train. I was scared to death, just scared to death. Something had happened to my father. Is that true? Is that what I? No, because it's not true. We weren't on a train. Bud Hopkins, you talked about your sister. Yeah, my sister was there with us. Edie. E.B. Ebby. No, E.B. Did I say E.B.? That was her nickname, do you call her that? That was what we called her back when we were kids. How did I end up back in the I'm a little confused because, I remember saying I'm 12 at some point, and then I remember seeing that thing again, the same thing that I saw when, Bud Hopkins, what was the thing? The thing is why, I keep saying it's a woman, you know. But it's a thing. But I saw her, on the train. What in the world is this all about? Because I seem to remember seeing her on a train. On a train. But it's not, it's just not a train. I'm telling you that right now, Bud Hopkins, your father was there. Yeah, he was there. He was scared to death. And when he was scared, I got scared. And my sister was there, but she was out like a light. And there was a whole bunch of soldiers there too. Regular soldiers. In uniforms. Bud Hopkins, and they were out too. And they had uniforms. They were all lying on, Bud Hopkins, unconscious. Tables, no, they were beds, but they were solid, no legs. They were going out in both directions, sort of. Bud Hopkins, many. Lots of them. Yeah, you were allowed to sit up. I was sitting up. I was happy and sitting up. Very excited. Then the next thing I knew, I saw my father and I was terrified because he was so scared. Bud Hopkins, was this the same scene or a different place? No, this was the same place. It was not quite. I was sitting in a chair and here was a grey thing in front of me, like a grey box that came down, totally grey. I could see the edges. It in the bottom but not the top. Because I was restricted sort of in my movements. You know, I keep thinking that this was on a train. I'm still thinking that, but it can't be, can it? I'm talking about memories that didn't happen on a train, obviously, am I not? Did I say it happened? You know, I'm very confused here. Laughs. I don't know what the hell's going on. Bud Hopkins, what made you say train? I don't know. Bud Hopkins, did you see? No, we were on a train. We really were on a train. We were on a train, and I'll tell you, the goddamnest thing happened when we were on the train. We ended up in this thing when we were on a train. The three of us were on a train. I'll tell you what we were doing, too. We were coming back from Madison, Wisconsin, on a train. In the year 1957, and that's when all this happened. I have no idea how I ended up there from being on a train. Bud Hopkins, did you see like seats going back? No, we were. You're kidding. My father didn't go on trains in seats. We were in a great big drawing room. Bud Hopkins, you were in a drawing room, okay. Yeah, together in a room. And all of a sudden I'm not on a train, I'm sitting up in bed, and all these soldiers, did you have any covers? No, yeah, there was a little, don't go so fast for me, Bud. I know you're eager to know, but my mind keeps, there's something in me that keeps saying, you're on a train, you're on a train, you're on a train. And it's like it's very hard, but no, there weren't covers. My impression was there was something soft under me. It wasn't an unpleasant place to be, in that sense. It had solid sides that came up a little bit above the edge. Then I was sitting up in it. Then I was sitting on the edge. You see, I don't remember moving. That's the thing that's funny about it. I remember being in one place and then in another place. That's the damnedest thing. I never remembered anything like that before. Now in that situation, when you're sitting up, was your father there? No, I sat in front of this great thing for a while, in a little chair. And then, all of a sudden I saw my sister down here, kind of points down and to the right, lying there just totally out. And I was real surprised and scared, and I feel scared again. Then when I saw my father, he was standing up and he looked totally bereft and terrified. Scared, so scared. And he put his head down and started doing this, and it just scared the hell out of me. I made a convulsive mouth movement, imitating my father. It was as if he was trying to get something out of his throat. And then I heard him screaming, but real faint, you know. I could see him, he was no farther away than you are, about 4 feet, but I could hear him very faintly, just screaming and screaming. The second I heard him, it put just a terrifying fear in me. I remember that, right sitting here, the way that felt, it just went right through me. It was worse than the last week, only the difference is that when you started out you said to be calm, and it was breaking through that, and that's why I woke up. When Daddy was scared, I was just scared to death. You said you took a trip. Yeah, the trip happened. And not only did the trip happen, something did happen on the trip. Because on that trip, on the way back I was as sick as a dog. Vomiting, up Billa. And my father was just having a hell of a time. God, he must have had a rotten trip, poor man. You mean, he was having a hell of a time with me because I was so sick? Your sister's still alive. Yeah, there was something, you were describing as if you'd seen it before. You know what I saw before? The woman. The same person. That occurs in hypnosis. We have these spontaneous age shifts. Frequently what will happen is that somebody will under hypnosis see something they've seen before, or something like it, and age shift will occur. I remembered vaguely before hypnosis that I knew someone there. But I just put that out of my mind because that's impossible. You can't, it's one thing to deal with something like that and an entirely different thing to find out you know one of them already. Laughs. Bud Hopkins, what about this thing about the woman? This is just so strange. Will you stop for a minute, Bud? I just can't stand this. It's just we're gonna have to talk about this another time because I just need to rest. Let's go up and relax. Yeah, I've just had enough. Free farewell, green fields and hazy groves, where flocks have tarrying delight, where lambs have nibbled, silent moves the feet of angels bright, unseen they pour blessing, and joy without ceasing, on each bud and blossom. And each sleeping bosom. William Blake, Night, The Color of the Dark Inside. Lost when I left that last session, it was with a deep sense of concern. I felt that I was entering an unknown region of the mind, perhaps of experience. I was doubly worried now for my sanity. First, I still felt that I might be the victim of some rare disorder. Second, I questioned my ability to live with the notion that my whole life might have proceeded according to a hidden agenda. Neither of these alternatives was acceptable, hardly endurable, and yet one of them had to be true. I walked the streets of New York, not thinking, just absorbing the comfort of ordinary life. I walked, but my impulse was to run. I was trapped. If I did not accept that something real was hiding in the deep of my life, then I had to accept myself as a disturbed man. But I did not feel or act disturbed. I felt afraid, and all my irrational actions could be seen as a response to unacknowledged fear. I was a responsible husband and father. There wasn't any sign of psychosis in my personality. Don Klein was an acknowledged expert, and even after this hypnosis session, he told me that he thought I was sane. But how could anybody not be psychotic and yet have these spectacular delusions? As I walked, I considered the problem. What should I tell my wife? And how about my son? To what degree were they involved? Never in my life had I felt as I felt then, trapped in a mysterious cavern of